Check out this badass tree stump. I'm 6'1". This is how tall it is next to me. And part of it is downhill from me. Anyway, it's going to be my tripod. Well, it'll be a monopod, but a very stable monopod for this video. Hey everybody, KMO here. For those of you who don't know, I've been doing a podcast since 2006. Not 2016, 2006. I've been doing it for 15 years almost. Started in October of that year. We're not quite around to October in this year. I'm also a cartoonist. I do a webcomic, which also exists now as a print comic and on Comixology. You can find it on Amazon. It's called Gebb, G-E-B-B. And the website is gebb.io. And today I'm in the cemetery. You know, I've been meaning to get into NFTs for a long time, and they baffle me. I mean, I've really been struggling with it. And just a couple days ago, somebody, thank you Peter, contacted me on Instagram and told me about, hey, there's this crypto called Cardano, or Cardano. It's abbreviated ADA. I still don't know why that is, but he said, you know, the minting fees with Ethereum are ridiculous, but you can do it very cheaply with Cardano. And I found a place, I won't name the website because I'm not going to use it again, but, you know, I bought some Cardano, I acquired the right kind of wallet, I sent the Cardano or the ADA from Coinbase over to this wallet, and then I paid for my minting fee on an image. It's not a super special image, it's just one I thought was kind of cool. It's one that I posted to Instagram a couple months ago. And then I uploaded it and I minted it for about $10. Whereas, you know, with Ethereum, prices I was getting quoted were anywhere between $80 and $100. So, you know, like a tenth the price. Great. But then just doing a little searching around, I found another ADA-based or Cardano-based, basically a website devoted to NFTs, but they're running it more like a gallery. In fact, they've got several layers of service, including what they call white glove service, where you don't want to have anything to do with the technical implementation. You just want to make the art and send us the art and we'll take care of everything else. It's like, yes, that's what I want. But instead of filling out their web form, I found the contact email and I sent an email. And the guy who's building the site got in touch with me. We spent like a couple hours on the phone or on Zoom today. And a bunch of the images that I have posted of Spanky the Space Elf, I've posted it to Instagram over the last few weeks. He made several of them into NFTs. I'm going to have my own portfolio site, you know, there. And my NFT struggle seems to have been lifted from my shoulders. I didn't fix it. I didn't solve it, you know. I didn't work it out for myself. I just found the right ally. So, yay. And I don't have the name of the site committed to memory such that I'm sure I would get it right, so I'll just put it in text on the screen here. But I will be directing people to it regularly from now on, you know, because the work that I've been doing, just not for the comic, you know, not the work for hire stuff, but just the stuff I do for myself to put up on Instagram, that stuff's all going to be, or, you know, the stuff that I like, the stuff that I think's good is going to be all converted to NFTs now. Hopefully that'll bring me some money. So also thanks to everybody who over the years directed me to listen to the Thaddeus Russell podcast. I never did until like a week ago. And I've been just burning through his, his feed, not more than one a day, because they're pretty long and they're fairly dense. And I usually listen while walking, and I don't walk for more than an hour a day. But just as I was walking up here to the cemetery, I was listening to an episode, and it's not his most recent episode, but it's a fairly recent episode, Cracks in the Ivory Tower. And he's talking at the very beginning with his guest about the difference between continental philosophy and analytic philosophy. And he was brought up in he being Thaddeus Russell, was brought up in a continental tradition. And, you know, the prejudicial view of the continentals against analytic, it's just, what did he say? Well, I can't remember exactly how he characterized it, except to say that it's really focused on interrogating the internal structure of arguments to make sure that that they're valid, that definitions are clear, which I'm actually making it sound less prejudicial than he did. But I think that he was generally right, but, he stated it in a prejudicial way. And his guest is from an analytic tradition. And although he thinks that the distinction between continental and analytic is not as hard and fast as people make it out to be, but I'm definitely, in my undergraduate years, I didn't know there was a difference between the two. I think I was just exposed to analytic philosophy. And then when I got into grad school, my very first semester in grad school, I was still in Japan, and my girlfriend at the time signed me up for classes, and she just, let an academic advisor pick them for me, basically. And I was in a Hegel seminar, my very first semester as a grad student, and I had no idea. We were reading the Phenomenology of Spirit, which compared to the stuff I was used to, recent Anglo-American philosophy, philosophy of mind, philosophy of science, that sort of thing. This was like in Mars. I mean, this was like the Voynich manuscript. It was so impenetrable to me, and it was such a traumatic experience trying to get through that, phenomenology of spirit. So, when I learned the difference, my primary association now with continental philosophy is that. It's Hegel, which I hate. And, I was reading stuff about what these days really would be the non-coding side of artificial intelligence. But, in the 90s, it was known as philosophy of mind. And I was reading people of all the people that I read, the only one you're likely to have heard of would be Daniel Dennett. But people like Paul and Patricia Churchland and Jaegwon Kim and Terry Horgan, people who are alive. They're still alive. And they're still, they're very interested in working out how it is that minds can work and do work. And, can and do could be very, not entirely separate spheres, because we do have minds and they do work. And, if they do work, then they can work, right? But there's a lot of potential for things that we would probably consider, we would have to concede, there's a mind at work there, even though it's clearly very, very different from ours. And the difference between our minds and potential minds that might arise from, attempts at artificial intelligence could be truly alien. Much more alien than, say, the mind of somebody who's from China. So back to NFTs. What to say about it other than, hey, I'm really happy to have learned about Cardano or ADA when I did. It's like $1.20 per coin right now. Whereas Bitcoin is taking a big hit, and it's down to $48,000 for one Bitcoin today, down from $62 from last week, 62,000. I was telling the guy that I was talking to, his name, by the way, is John. I'll have to cut that out. I can't bring his last name to mind. Bluff. I'll put it on screen. But I was telling him that the laptop that I was using to talk to him on is one that I bought back in 2015, and I think that Bitcoin was selling around $600 per coin, and I cashed in enough Bitcoin at the time to get this $2,000 computer. It's now a $100,000 computer, if not more. So that was sad. But at the same time, it still works, and it's not even that I bought those Bitcoin. Those were donated to me. There used to be a donate Bitcoin link on the front of the C-Realm website, and enough people did that I had enough money at one point to, buy a laptop with it. And then a few years later, it was trading, I think, around 900 or so. I cashed in what I thought was the last of my Bitcoin in order to buy an old pickup truck, which didn't last very long, unfortunately. And there was just, such a tiny fraction of Bitcoin left in my Coinbase account. I basically just forgot about the Coinbase account. There was no reason to even check in on that amount of Bitcoin. And now that Bitcoin is up around, it's usually over $50,000. Those little crumbs of Bitcoin that were left in my Coinbase account are, it's like $300 now. At the time, it was not even worth, trying to cash out and have it sent to me. And I'm glad I didn't. Anyway, cryptocurrency. I'm all about ADA now, all about Cardano. Not because I think it's going to fly through the roof, although I think it probably will. NFTs are super popular, and Ethereum is just, as far as I understand it, and I don't pretend to understand cryptocurrency, it's not really optimal for minting NFTs, non-fungible tokens. And Cardano is a much better platform for that, and I think that the popularity of NFTs is going to equate into the popularity and the success of Cardano. So I'm happy to be getting in with an art gallery that's going to represent my art, and it's going to do all the technical implementation. And I told them, just take the money and stake it in their Cardano pool. Don't send it to me, just let it grow. So fingers crossed, hopefully this works out, and if it does, you'll be hearing a whole lot more about that website. All right, gonna wrap it up here. Stay well.